Good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
The rest of Kenyans, wherever they are, for the last 2 weeks, I've been in different parishes, hearing about what is happening around us. Like those friends who are walking, don't ask what is happening. We are not strangers to Kenya. We're aware 3 or so weeks there was a bill, finance bill, and from this discussion, rejecting the bill, it rose up to a point when His Excellency the President to ask what to do. While we know it was approved for or passed for signing, His Excellency the President did not sign it. However, that was the beginning of where we can mark and say, this is where it all started raining on us. A lot of things have happened. So yes, this weekend we had young people in Uhuru Park. We had bringing their young people together. The Basilica was one such a place, and I spoke to the Archbishop of me. The Basilica was full of young people who are asking the same questions. While I did on the 23rd of this month, of this last month, there, and that is the time when things were beginning to roll, and I could see there is something the young people about. The whole story of Kenya's history and the whole story of our political class, our political politics. We got our Uhuru, and we needed to go even further than that and project where we want to be. The things that have come up. As a result, His Excellency the President to his place. And I will tell you later why we went. 8 of us, the bishops of Kenya, bishops and a few other, and 2 other bishops, we were invited to State House. And he told us that to be a little later at my time, but I want to welcome you to be settled down. You come from Mombasa. Others are watching on Captain TV. Thank you, Captain TV, for televising this. To bring it on air, because we have already, for many years now, since Corona, running, let's say, masses, sessions on air, and teaching on air, and now even many of you are going to school. So instead of calling all the priests and all the lay and the young people of our call a few of you. You represent quite many, about 6 of you are here. And we want you to be free to talk. The church is concerned. That's why we invited our youth chaplain, who is here with us. And he can wave to know in the archdiocese. Fathers Arori at the back and Father Gregory from Mikindani. So that's all we are here to chat with you for about an hour. Say what you want to say. We didn't invite the police, they're not here, and even anyway, if they were here, they'd be taking care of us. To join the others and say, for sure, it's a moment in our history we want to make our contribution. Well, simply how it all started, the Mau Mau and other things came up. The other day we were celebrating Sabasaba. And now we are here where we are talking about the Gen Z exercise that has come up as a very interesting beginning. Everybody I've spoken to has said people tuwasikilize. There's something we need to hear from them. By the way, we want to congratulate you peacefully, as we have always done as members of this community. And we many communities that are here, the Muslims, Mombasa is full, we are a kaleidoscope of nations. There we have Muslims, we have Hindus, we have wazee wa kaya, and live together in harmony. Of course, occasionally we are charged by other factors that make us fight or hate each other. But at the moment, we have had very good working together in the parishes, in the Muslim, our partnership with others, with the CSOs, and that's why we are here representing different. So mine is to welcome you to this hall, and thank you for coming and turning on time for active non-violence. And I also know all of you have done Palm Sunday, you Catholics start from one end, carry Matawi, to the other end, church, you go and stop. Good Friday, you have the same. And I've never seen anyone throw stones. I mean, I'm just saying that is an active non-violence. You're telling the story of Jesus' crucifixion without hitting anyone. So solemn and so active that people shed tears. But you also know those who don't want you to do it will influence others, will buy others, trade you. We can be our own, and this is what we need to reflect when you are doing certain. Just to say, that's a good example where we are. About the mention from, did you say it's from which country? Angola. It's an African saying because mother tongue, you cannot learn it anywhere else except home. Many a time, we call it mother tongue. Inda na mama, I have a little nephew who jumps out and he's speaking the language everybody is speaking there. If you move where they're speaking another language, that is it. So our history, we've learned ambazo zingine hazifai, zimepitwa na wakati. I was and we were observers in the last election, and I observed until midnight. Sisters were observers, lay people were observers. So we also have to protect what we value. So if you keep, you know what will happen. If people are dividing food in a corner and you're not there, will do exactly what some students in school. You give them 5 bananas, there are 3 of them. 3, they put 2 in the pocket first. And then as they walk, they say, let's share. So, I'm aware the values we teach people of honesty, of truthful, it must be imbued in our systems. If they are not there, you can forget it. The president had invited earlier, I think, body. So when he called us the Friday of that date, it's like your neighbor has an issue, and we could see it. We knew it's going to come up. Some to your neighbor, say, "Hey, gentlemen, come! I'm in trouble." So we were pulled by all. We arrived, the 8 of us, and he spoke. He has had to consult different groups to say, what can he do? I know when I saw the tweet from the It was a very interesting one, a short one, a very quick one. I still have it. Catholic bishops, but the picture below, the face picture below is our. And yes, we looked at it, and I knew where you're coming from. And somebody else, a senior member of the community here, has said, they should not be moving, you should be waiting, you are big people, you're important persons. And that's why even you, me, call me, I come. How many times do I carry my just diary, meet a young person, anybody, and he wants to listen to me? I just do it on the spot. And I don't find it's rain. After all, when Jesus, after washing Peter was refusing to be washed his feet. Look, have you understood what I've done? Go and do the same. Be a servant leader. So, called by young people like you have called us, we come. Wazee, we go. Wakong, we go. So, understand what the church and the pastors, let me call them the priests, are all about. It is all about a prestige. So, I'm just sidetracking to just help you. So, when he asked us, what do you advise? He got plenty of advice. He got plenty of advice. First of all, we told him, Mr. President, Your Excellency, you cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone either. None of us, after all the changes that have come, we are proud of. We were always a part of the change constitution. You had Mdingis that time. We had Muges that time. We this time have a different methods. But it is all of us together, my dear brothers and sisters, whatever. And what we are asking, it's our right that we share the cake that our arms baked for us, for the young, for the old, the sick. And that's how you heard us speak in many occasions. For example, about health issues, NHIF. You've heard us speak about the whole issue of education and how expensive it has become. You've heard the whole issue of this housing. How are you going to organize them? We have spoken that many times. But is it coming now? We know the voices of the bishops have been always there. The voice of the churches, the Muslims. We were there even during the announcement of the elections. I was there at that particular evening. And we were there with the others. We have Kenya at heart. We have our leadership at heart. And this is where we say they seem to change even their color immediately after election. May they be this. That's why it is important to carry out civic education. And what is civic education? That's exactly what you are trying to do now to the masses and to the public through the Mutandao. We have pushed to try to give civic education through Justice and Peace, through the VAD, DRG, other forums, but the politician is afraid of telling the people the truth. I'll tell you what I did during the elections. The kind of invited them in a hall, big hall, like bigger than this, in a place called our Pastoral Center. The ones in Mombasa. Someone who thought he had something to ask Kenyans to do, or the Mombasas to do. In that way, they what they want, what position they want, how they're going to get the money, and how they are going to distribute the money. Right? Some others didn't. So it is an engagement of not just during election. It must be on, as you said, monkey see, monkey do. If we don't teach them now, when they jump, going to Dubai and back, going to London and back, and unfortunately, it's tempting, especially if people are hungry, don't have food. They see you biting a big bread. They want it all, they demand it. So, without saying much, because this is your forum, but I really want to say what you're doing is going to educate all of us, all of us. From where I sit, I was the chair of the, and I only relinquished my chair in April. And all of us were not pro-politicians. That is out of contest. And of course, I've seen it. You remember, at one time, the politicians were going to certain places. Begin to say, "Ata sisi tuko, we are already here. Why are you going to one place only?" You see, it's like if you give a banana, and you are the family, you have others. Others say, "Why are you forgetting us?" So they even invite politicians to the altars, which is not correct. Our here, when we have our statements, we do them outside the church.
So are you alluding that the Catholic Church is actually considering to ban politics from happening in the pulpit?
So those who are doing it were doing out of their own volition. It's like in the family. Your father, your daddy says, "Tomorrow you eat bananas." And one kid says, "Oh, shauri yako, it's me who is," like, you know. So there's a law even within us, in the church. Let, as I say, give to Caesar what is, give to God what is God. When we have what we call our liturgies, the Catholics especially, want interference. It doesn't mean I cannot invite a politician outside Mass and we come and work at a, do that. And because they are also Catholics or Protestants, they are members of their church, they are 10%. And their 10% of what they get is not the 10% you get. So, it is their responsibility. I remember when I was in a certain diocese, and that year, our theme was, "Faith without action is dead." So I called them and said, "What can we do?" And they thought among themselves, they said, "We'll buy a bus for the diocese for everyone to use it." And they organized themselves and they bought one bus, all the politicians, and they gave it to the diocese. It's a good gesture. After all, everything we get from the missionaries is also other countries. So we have a right, they have a right to donate what they can, but they don't try to campaign. In fact, I invited them to a campaign to tell people, I bought all the sodas, I gave all the lunch, and we finished and I went. And I said, "Thank you." I didn't ask them to pay. Because I need to lead also from the front. That it is to invite you and give you soda, and I don't have to charge you. So if it's a rambe, la kumi, unaita sadaka, unaita what, let's do it in a better way. Some of them anatoa 10,000. He calls the media, "Angalieni moja." I mean, let's be, because you're there giving. And remember, there are people, hata mtu hajakula lunch, hajakula supper, he has no place to stay. Sensitive to the people we lead. In fact, I would ask for austere methods of doing it. if we were to do it. But anyways, today we are just reflecting on what has happened. Learning lesson, and I think we can change. We can change, even all of us.
We can.
Don't think the politicians, and even kuna vijana wana hela.
Yeah.
These youngsters are said 1,000 times what we've been advocating for. For justice, for fairness, for equal distribution, the national cake, in terms of even as long as the constituency, because at every level budgets, you have already made this county to that county, and normally that is already. Apart from that, I also think we as Kenyans should also go out of our way in revenue or resource mobilization, because there are many places we live, what I call dead assets. Your families have land, and we can group ourselves in smaller group and demand, or not demand, just speak to our mheshimiwa, the necessary startups. It is possible, because at the end of the day, also there will be, if they tax anything, you also become part of the taxpayer anyhow. So we work to do. First of all, to appreciate what's collected is spent wisely, given to a few, or they don't loot it, because we have done what we can do. As bishops, day in Subukia 2019, all of us removed our shoes and we was talking, fighting corruption. And of course, it becomes a song. It also became so that you get that message right there. But when we finish, all of us draw back to our places. The offices, you are the ones in the chairing all these bursary groups and so on. We are demanding young people who are also honest, and also our leaders kindly be truthful. That then your saying goes, manke si, manke do, just to have money. So we must also be careful. Who are we electing? It is our right to elect a good man, a good person. And even if you are campaigning for them, you know they are able, they are honest, they are truthful, they are part of your life. But you buy the voters, or you defranchise by buying the votes, the IDs. What was discovered in some of the discussions we had, where an MP would go and buy your IDs of the kinamamas and the place they want to defranchise whoever is maybe popular. So you must be ready as you elect also to stand up and learn what are they doing anyway, because the most expensive, one of the most expensive countries with elections is Kenya. We are dealing about 50, 40 billion or million, or a lot of money, while in other countries they don't even box out there, sometimes near the church, and someone writes and goes. I've seen it happen in some countries. We have become expensive country to conduct elections. Somebody talked about IEBC. We did mention to His Excellency, but now somebody has to follow up. But this is, without IEBC, you can do nothing. The last one before the last, we did Hassan, and we spoke to them, because once you lose credibility at that point, back to the drawing board. But why do we allow ourselves to be cheated? Because we all pray to those who bribe us, or bribe the youth, or bribe the let's not go that way. And you cannot make a guy who has not learned, don't expect him to be any better after he gets the position. So we must kuanza kuwachuja mapema. Huyu yule ndio. And that's how when they campaign you take them to court, to task. How much have you, or you think they don't have to become generous when they become MPs. You know them, they have to start by, that's young people. Also give support to the village. Many times, the ordinary people have been helping teachers, helping children, farmers, helping other farmers. And we need to be very firm. That's why we have failed. And I always say, we are told we are about 85 or so percent, and the Muslims maybe 90%. And look, who is failing who? Who is cheating who? It is us cheating ourselves and say we are true Christians. So if we are true Muslims, we are honest. Those are the values we want to see. Without that, we'll talk, we sing, but we'll never succeed, because already there are those who are timing it to enrich themselves. Time to eat. Is our tribe to eat? Is our this? No. This is what we need to fight, and fight tooth and nail. Last but not least, somebody else asked about tax. The taxes we all know. We told him, everybody knows. And it was voted, but it was rejected. We still have a country, but we need to get back to a solution that can take care of the. While the laws, we demanded also, people have asked them to bring down their salaries, especially those who are earning high, because at the end of the day, it is your taxes, our taxes. And I know you times. So if I say to him, what I have to say, we have to advocate for free and distribution of the resources we all have, right from the constituency to the county, national levels. And somebody has said, it's easy to do education if only achievable for many. Only that way you will also have a country with people who can run the country. But if we leave all those universities die, and the young who can afford are also from where, they will continue ruling. They will continue, all of those who can afford. But all of us to education. So I suppose it's a big one. Somebody talked about shift. They're still struggling to explain clearly. And I know it goes back to the same thing. Do you have the right person there? Or you have a person who is doing something else? So is a job for all of us. Those who are here and those who are working in those positions. I think we must call our country to attention. Attention. Things are not, I keep saying, kumeduka. We must be ready to be counted. Stand up and be counted. Because if you don't, give you the job. Stand up and be counted as an honest leader. You promise, and if you can't deliver, apologize and give another deadline after 2 days, 1 year, and follow. Let's see you acting that way. So once again, congratulations, and I think we have a reason to keep talking about our issue. You get it, the government act on it. There are mechanisms of a law is made. There are mechanisms how to implement it. But if there are no implementers, then there's no. So I think we need more and more of all of us know what's going on with our bursary, what's going on with our taxes, what's going on with our land. Because without that, we just wait, and less than a year, there's no more land. It grows bigger. So he has set up, I think I've seen setting up some certain commission at what, but that is him to tell us. I can only stand where I advocate. I know how much hard it is to run our schools. Our schools without school fees, we're doing a rumpus with them and for them to try to keep our students in the universities, students in KMTCs, students in TTCs, and even in second schools, including even primary now. It's a big job to do. We must brace ourselves to do it, even starting locally.